It is midday in Liège. It's 1 p.m. in Cairo. Hello, I'm Monita, Rajpal. You're watching CNN, the world's news leader. This is World One, live from London. A woman's body has been discovered in the home of a gunman who went on a deadly shooting spree in Belgium. Police are telling CNN the dead woman was the attacker's cleaner. They believe he killed her before going on the rampage. It is now 24 hours since panic hit the streets of Liège, Belgium's third largest city. Frightened Christmas shoppers fled in all directions. Police say the man firing on them from a rooftop was 33-year-old Nourdine Amrani. A little earlier today, the prosecutor held a news conference in Liège. CNN senior international correspondent Nick Robertson was there. He joins us now with more. Nick, what did the prosecutor have to say?
Well, she confirmed the numbers of the dead, 5 people. The attacker himself, a small baby, an elderly woman, and 2 young men. 124 people, she said, have been in hospital as yet.
It's understandable that there's probably very little information that is trickling through at this point. But are prosecutors saying anything about a potential motive? He was known to the police and authorities, but are they saying what may have led him to this?
They're not. This is a man who's been in jail for growing cannabis and selling large quantities of cannabis.
Right. Nick, thank you. Nick Robertson there in Liège. More Egyptians are going to the polls now to cast ballots in an historic parliamentary election. This is round 2 of 3 in the first democratic vote since popular protests toppled longtime leader Hosni Mubarak. Islamists claimed victory in the first round. The Muslim Brotherhood was banned under Mubarak. Now its Freedom and Justice Party says it won 34 of the 56 seats in November's vote. Well, that has some Egyptians worried, especially as the voting underway now is in places that traditionally favor conservative Islamic candidates. For the very latest, let's go now to Ian Lee, who is at a polling station in Cairo. Ian, tell us about the significance of today's vote. Ian, thank you. Ian Lee there in Cairo. You are watching World One live from London. Caught in an email chain, ex-News of the World legal manager Tom Crone is giving evidence to Britain's press inquiry. It comes a day after revelations that James Murdoch received emails alerting him that a number of reporters engaged in phone hacking, not just one, and the newly released emails undermine Murdoch's claim that although he was chairman of News International, he didn't know the scale of the problem at the tabloid. He says he believed it was limited to one rogue reporter. Murdoch says he answered the crucial email from his BlackBerry without reading its full contents. Well, Dan Rivers is following the story from central London, where Tom Crone is facing a grilling about what James Murdoch knew. And it's not looking good for Mr. Murdoch, is it?
No, it's not, Monita. This is the email exchange that has been released by the Parliamentary Committee based behind me that is also looking into phone hacking.
Thank you for that, Dan Rivers there in central London. We want to take you now to Iraq and the prospect of Christmas for the country's Christian community. It's very different from the Christmas that people elsewhere are hoping for. More than anything else, Christians in Iraq are just asking to stay alive. Attacks on their community are common, and churches have been targeted, priests kidnapped, and hundreds of people killed. Well, Michael Holmes visits one church where all they want for Christmas is peace.
Christmas approaches and Iraqi Christians pray for peace, goodwill, and that they'll make it till next Christmas alive.
Fall and strong winds continue to batter parts of northwest Europe. Meteorologist Jennifer Delgado is at the World Weather Center with a look at those conditions. Jen?
Hi, Monita. I'm sure you've been experiencing some of those strong winds as well as the rain over the last couple of days and improving through parts of Europe. We'll send it back over to you.
Okay. Jen, thank you very much.
See you later, Lady in Red.
Okay. Yeah, and you too, Lady in Red. Still to come. They are seeking refuge in a former war zone. Syrians find a new safe haven as the government's war on dissenters goes on. Activists in Syria say government forces killed 5 people in the central province of Hama on Wednesday. It's also claimed that in a revenge attack, 8 government soldiers were killed in an ambush by army defectors. With the violence continuing unabated, thousands thousands of people are getting out of the country and many are heading to Libya. One community leader in the city of Benghazi says 4,000 families have arrived in the past few weeks and more are turning up every day. The head of the United Nations Refugee Agency in Libya, Emmanuel Gignac, joins us now via Skype. Emmanuel, thank you very much for being with us. We understand that there's some reports that they were indicating at one point there were 2 busloads of people coming in a week. Now it's 2 busloads a day.
Well, yes. Good afternoon. Yes, this is the information, the reports we're getting, at least since the past couple of days.
Gignac of the UNHCR, thank you so much. A cameraman who fled from Syria says he was employed to produce fake stories to bolster the image of the Syrian government. Yunus al-Yusuf worked for the pro-regime broadcaster Al-Dunya. He told CNN's Rima Maktabi he was forced to ignore atrocities and shoot only when the regime what the regime wanted to show.
اسمي يونس اليوسف.
Welcome back. There's been an unexpected twist in the sex abuse case, which has scandalized the world of U.S. college sport. Pedro Pinto joins us now with that and much more. Pedro.
I do, Monita. There have been developments. Former Penn State assistant football coach Jeff Sandusky, who faces multiple counts of alleged sex. Huge year for Luke Donald overall.
The awards just keep on coming for him. Let's talk about FIFA Club World Cup. Any surprises, any highlights for you?
You know, since this format started 6 years ago, we've had, out of those 6 years, 5 years it's been South America versus Europe. And
as if we didn't have enough football.
No, you're right. It's year-round.
It just never stops.
No, and then in January we have the African Cup of Nations. It's just, you know, we were talking about that today. It's revolving games throughout every continent.
You love it, so it's okay.
I do, yeah.
All right. Pedro, thank you very much. Well, speaking of Luke Donald, he's had a big year, as Pedro was saying. Big, but not big enough to make this list. Weddings, wars, and a wall of water. The events that will remain in the memory from 2011 and the people, Time magazine says, could be Person of the Year. Welcome back. You're watching World One live from London. We are approaching almost 7 a.m. in New York, almost 1 p.m. in Berlin, and it is almost 9 p.m. for you in Tokyo. Now, for better or worse, these are the people Time magazine thinks had the most influence on the news in 2011. Time will reveal its choice later today from a field of 34 candidates. Silvio Berlusconi is one of them. Time writes the former Italian prime minister will be remembered much like Nero, the hapless monarch who fiddled while Rome burned. Also, okay, we've been talking about those stories, but there are some other stories that we want to bring you up to date about today. Well, diamonds are famous for their sparkle. I was going to say they're forever, but this pearl could outshine most of them. The 50-carat beauty was given to Elizabeth Taylor by Richard Burton, her 5th husband. The pearl, known as La Peregrina, sold for over $10 million at the auction house Christie's. It was once part of the crown jewels of Spain. Richard Burton paid $37,000 when he bought it in the late 60s. Not bad. 30 Rock is a hit U.S. sitcom, but there is no laughing matter now we're going to talk about. A flight attendants union is petitioning American Airlines to take the show off the airline's flight entertainment schedule unless they get an apology from actor Alec Baldwin. He was kicked off a flight last week for refusing to turn off his phone as the plane was preparing for takeoff. Baldwin found a different flight and then tweeted his grievance against American. And Norway set for a Christmas cake crisis? Yeah, it's looking possible, and that's because the whole country's running short of butter. Producers say it is the result of rising consumption and unusually low milk output. One online auction site offered butter for roughly 30 times the normal price, and Danish ferries traveling to Norway have started offering it in their duty-free shops. Gotta stop off and purchase that. Now, there's been much ado in Toronto about the seemingly very close relationship of 2 male African penguins at the zoo. Zoo officials went so far as to say they'd been spending too much time together, but now Buddy and Pedro, Pedro, are being separated and paired with female penguins. That's prompted endless mirth among late-night comedians. So will Buddy and Pedro do their duty? Only time will tell. Keep it here on CNN as we'll keep you updated. You're watching World One live from London. I'm Monita Rajpal. Thank you for joining us. I'll be back with an update of the news headlines in just a couple of minutes. Stay with us here on CNN.